What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video here on Peg City Hockey. Now today, we're going to be discussing in depth everything going on with Pierre-Luc Dubois and all this stuff with him wanting to go to Montreal, how he's not signing with the Jets, his agent's comments and everything. We kind of talked about it recently. I showed you guys the comments that his agent made, the statement, how basically the destination he wants to play in is Montreal. Winnipeg, they've talked, but Montreal is where he wants to play. Basically, what he's saying is that he won't sign in Winnipeg. He doesn't want to play in Winnipeg, and he won't be basically with the Jets at all next season is basically how they're going. And if he is on the Jets next season, he will probably look like a worse version of what he did in Columbus on those infamous shifts with John Tortorella behind the bench. And we don't want that to happen, obviously. So today we're going to talk about all that stuff. But before we get into it, we got some more minor Winnipeg Jets news updates. So bear with me for about 2 minutes as I take you through the news update over the last 48 hours or so. So starting it off, we are going to go with the fact that Jansen Harkins has agreed to a 2-year, $850K average contract, yearly average, with the Winnipeg Jets, obviously. He was an RFA. He signs for 2 more years, and look, I know how you guys know how I feel already that the fact that we let Svech go, we didn't tender him an offer. The fact that we kept Harkins, obviously, we can look at both those players and compare just on numbers which guy is better, but I think Harkins has potential. Now, do I think he's a great Jet? The best out there? Absolutely not. But I liked Brendan Tanev even when he wasn't very good. And I'm not saying Jansen Harkins can become the next Brendan Tanev, but Brendan Tanev, all he needed was just an increase in playing time, and he turned out to be a very good depth forward for us. So when you look at Jansen Harkins' stats, let alone his just minutes played, about 4 to 6 minutes throughout the entire year, you're not going to get much out of a guy at that. He still had moments and opportunities, and he looked good in a lot of games. 77 games played, 7 goals, 6 assists for 13 points. Obviously, nothing fantastic, like I said. Definitely low total in points. You want to get that up. But I think he's got another gear he can take it into. He's only 25 years old. I don't think he's going to be this long-lasting, amazing depth forward in the NHL, but I think he's going to come into his own this season and finally get his footing right and get some more playing time. I think actually he could be a guy that Rick Bowness could really like and use him on the third line even at times, maybe the second power play. I know you guys might be thinking that's crazy, but I'm not saying he's just going to jump into that overall really very quickly, but I think he has stuff we haven't seen from him, and I think in the right situation, he could blossom into a very good depth forward for us, and under $1 million for the next 2 years, that's all you can really ask for with that. And then moving on to the other news is the fact that Mason Appleton has filed for arbitration. Arbitration, we've seen it 1,000 times as Jets fans. Most likely, Appleton's probably going to sign a 2-year contract. I would think right around maximum $3 million. I think that would be fair for him. Obviously, Mason Appleton is not the most amazing forward out there. He was much better with the Winnipeg Jets. I actually did not pull up his stats. Give me one moment and I will do that. So here's Mason Appleton's stats. As you guys can see, obviously with the Kraken, because he obviously was taking the expansion draft, we had him, we lost him. With the Kraken in 49 games played, 6 goals, 11 assists for 17 points in 49 games. Last year in the shortened season, he had 25 points in 56 games, so obviously not on track to have a good productive year as he did with the Jets in the limited season in the North Division. Comes over to the Jets after the trade deadline, and he actually looked okay. He wasn't fantastic, but let's be real. The Jets at that point in time were not fantastic in general, so I doubt Mason Appleton was going to elevate this team into a playoff team. They just wanted to bring him back because they probably never wanted to lose him in the first place, because neither did I, honestly. So he puts up 4 points, 2 goals, 2 assists in 19 games. Like I said, nothing fantastic, but I think Mason Appleton next year in the full season with the Jets back with Adam Lowry on that third line, I think he could be a really good depth forward for us again. And I could definitely see production of what he got in 2020-2021. Like I said, in the North Division, he almost had 30 points, and I think on the right line, and if potentially, who knows, if Blake Wheeler is still on this team, God forbid, and he's not in the top 6, and he does get a third line, I know this is a lot of hypothetical, but, Mason Appleton could be a great fit along with Blake Wheeler in the lineup, and if the Jets are going to roll out different types of lines under bonus, that could be a variation that we see if Wheeler's on the team still. So I like that we kept Mason Appleton around, and I think that it is very, very good. So let's, without any further ado, jump into the Pierre-Luc Dubois news. Now, obviously, the big news is that Pierre-Luc Dubois did not file for arbitration today. This would leave the door open to a offer sheet. We don't want that because, let's be real, we want to get more than just picks for Dubois. We need to try to compete right now, and I know a lot of you guys are thinking, oh, we don't want to compete, but we still have a pretty good group of players on this team, and if we surround them with some talent, there is still the chance that we could rebound with a retool. I know right now it's still not looking very good, but, before everything goes to shit, we still have a chance to get off in the right direction. I know right now we're falling deeper and deeper down this pit, but God, as a Jets fan, I still believe that there's some type of way that we can come out of this with some skill and a little amount of positivity going to next season. But nonetheless, Dubois, only his real chance of being with the Jets would to have sign his 1-year, $6 million qualifying offer by July 22nd, which is Friday, this upcoming Friday. So not a lot of time there based on this front. So there could be a Dubois trade within the next 48 hours. We don't really know, but basically, you're going to concede right here again. If Pierre-Luc Dubois is not with him not filing, he's going to arbitration. And this is a guy, like I said, Dubois At this point, I want him off this team. He's nothing but a cancer. And I'm telling this to Montreal fans too. And I know this is going to make it seem like, oh, I'm just tanking his trade value. But let's be real. His trade value is already tanked thanks to him and his dumbass agent for handling this circumstance. He was a dick in the juniors with Cape Breton. He demanded a trade. It was all pissy. His attitude was crap. He wanted to get out of there. And then where does he go? He goes to Blainville to the Armada, and he plays down there before getting drafted. He goes into Columbus. He's pretty damn good in Columbus. Gets better every year. Then he has the infamous 2020-2021 start, and leading up to it in the offseason about how he wanted to trade. He signed the deal, but nonetheless, he doesn't want to play there anymore. He has the shit effort. He puts up 1 goal in 5 games. The infamous shift happens where he puts in no effort. One of the worst NHL shifts that I've ever seen in my life. Comes over to Winnipeg. First year in Winnipeg, absolutely shit. For what we traded him for, how good Laine was in his first game compared to what Dubois put on the ice, demanding a trade and being all pouty about it, he was great. And then we get Dubois, and then he is crap. 20 points in 41 games. All of those points were spaced out, inconsistent play from here and there. He had 1 or 2 games where he had a game-winning goal, and it's like, yay, Dubois. But other than that, nothing but inconsistency from that clown the first season. And he comes into Winnipeg. I'm thinking this guy can only, hopefully go up, but I still think he's shit. I want Laine back, blah, blah, blah. He surprises all of us, well, actually puts basically all of us in our place and says, shut the hell up. 81 games played, 28 goals, 32 assists, 60 points, a rebound season, second highest point total in the NHL, obviously 61 back in 2018-19 with the Jackets. We were thinking, okay, this guy could be the captain. This guy's got some leadership. He's got some grit. He's got 106 penalty minutes. He's not afraid to get down and fight with the best. The Austin Matthews tangle up. Still has Leafs fans talking to this day, and I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying he is the type of player you want on your hockey team. What does he do going into an offseason where he needs to be signed? Just destroys the Winnipeg Jets. All their angles, everything. He's not respectful to them at all. He doesn't say, hey, I'm not signing here, so please work out a trade. He doesn't give them any leverage in a situation to put him in a desire. He comes out like a pouty little child. I'm sorry, but this is a fact. He's done this at every level of professional hockey he's played and going back to the QM. Like, seriously, this guy is such a demanding little whiner, and the fact that he's already demanding 2 trades before the time he's 25, and his best season is 61 points, who does he think he is? I'm sorry, but at this point, I just don't even care what the package is. We're not going to be able to hold... Look, if you guys think that we're just going to sign him to this deal, we're not. He will rather sit out and tank his value. He doesn't care because he'll end up in Montreal anyway at some point on a cheap contract, prove he's still good, he thinks, and get the money. Look, Evander Kane just did it. He thinks he can do the same thing. In the NHL, it's a second chances no matter what you've done. Dubois will get his way to Montreal eventually. We should just ship him off. Take whatever we can. They're not giving up Nick Suzuki. We have no leverage. There's not a team in the league that will trade for Pierre-Luc Dubois because he will not sign there. And even if you think, even if he tells you, that his agent tells you, oh, he might sign there. Look what he did with Winnipeg. Winnipeg, his dad's a freaking member of the organization. He coaches in the AHL with the Manitoba Moose in the same goddamn building. And we all thought because of that, the way they talked about that he'd want to stay and commit. But no. We also thought that, hey, bringing a Canadian kid like that from Quebec, maybe you'd be used to the city, the weather, the atmosphere. Doesn't make a damn difference, guys. This is a man that just wants out at this point, and the numbers don't lie. I, for one, just can't take it anymore. This news is just, every time I see it, it just makes me cringe because he's not some 85, 90-point guy at some elite center. He's a second-line center that can put up 60 points for you. Like, let's be real. His best seasons with Columbus, when Columbus was loaded, he had 61 points. I'm tired of this guy's antics. Like, at this point, trade him for whatever the hell you can if you're Shovel Day off. Get any type of guys that can play top 6 roles. Hope to God Connor, Scheifele, Ehlers, and whoever else you can bring in, hopefully, to maybe spice it up. At this point, there's not a lot of options, but goddammit, I'm optimistic. Some type of way to form a top 6 that might have some chemistry together, and just roll it out. Because I would rather be experimental at this point, ship off this cancer for what we can, and just try to see what this team is. We go in with this makeshift core, we see what happens with the core guys that we think are the leaders, the franchise players, the Connors, the Scheifeles, the guys that have been here forever. We see what they can do. We say, Wheeler's gone. You guys are it now. You with Connor, you are the star. You you get almost 50 goals, whatever. Let's run with it, man. You lead the offense or whatever. Let him finish. Whatever you want to do with Bonus. I know Bonus ain't even the best option, but God damn it, everywhere I look, basically, there's just blocks everywhere, on every road, everything I can think of. Every time I go down a path where I'm like, oh, maybe the Jets can make out of this and some way be competitive, it just feels like I'm hitting a brick wall. I'm trying, I literally, as I record this, to give you guys the best options, and we really just don't have that many. Keeping him for longer is only going to tank his value because no team, like I said, wants to trade for a guy that's openly said he'll only play in Montreal. He's not going to sign by Friday, and if he does, I will eat my own shoe. I swear to God, because look at the attitude he's been giving. Do you really think this guy's going to sign a $6 million qualifying offer? He just wants to go. He thought he was in attendance at the draft because he thought the trade was going to go down at the draft. That's how much he wants out of here, but the trade fell apart. This guy just wants out, and he does not give a shit what bridges he burns to get out. And I want him gone. I don't care what the return is. We're already going to be losers of it because we gave up Laine for this guy. Laine liked the city. He had no problems with it. His biggest issue was playing time in the locker room with some guys, reportedly, right? We're going to still put those quotations even though it's almost factual at this point. But nonetheless, that was the guy that you traded. And Rosovic, a pretty good player to boot who obviously didn't want to be here. But nonetheless, he was still a good player. Had potential still. I know I'm not a big fan of him, but you can't deny the 30 points. He had potential. We bring in Dubois in a third, and Dubois wants out after what? Playing 41 games and then 81 games. Screw him. I'm done with it. You move him on for whatever you can. Let him be Montreal's problem. Let him underperform for the Habs. Because let me be real with you Habs fans. If you guys are not good next year and you miss the playoffs, you'll probably ask for a trade out anyway. You probably will. This guy is a clown. The way he handles himself. And I usually don't get like this about players because I really don't care. If you want to leave, you want to leave. It's whatever. It's your career. But the way that he has handled it at every level of professional hockey for his career so far has been a joke and an embarrassment to the sport. So Dubois, I hope you end up rotting in Philadelphia with with Trotz, and no Philly fan. If you're fans, if you're watching this, I don't think you'll be terrible. I just want him to rot with that coach because you're a terrible, terrible teammate. It's based on this because a good teammate would not put the city and his team through all this bad, negative media attention right now. So Dubois, thanks for nothing, you asshole. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching this video. Subscribe if you enjoyed it. Have a great rest of your day. Peace, love, and positivity. I'm done wasting my energy talking about this clown. So let me know what your thoughts are on him down in the comment section below because goddamn it, Dubois, you're nothing but a damn disappointment.